Welcome to B-Flow Sessions, the podcast where we help you find the flow in life and on the river. I'm Brad Burton. Join me as I talk to paddlers, athletes, and adventurers who are all seeking the flow. B-Flow Session is brought to you by the brands that keep us in the flow. Dagger Kayaks, Sawyer Paddles, Stohlquist PFDs, and Level 6 Gear. Thanks to them for keeping us in the flow. Check them out and take your next adventure to the next level. Welcome to the next episode of B-Flow Sessions, and I'm really excited to be with someone here on this episode who has really emerged in the last 10 years or so as one of the best extreme kayakers out there. I stumbled across him just kind of like looking for YouTube videos, and I shared this with him before we hit record that sometimes when you watch people on YouTube, you're like, I don't know, maybe they're over their head. And I somewhat across this guy, Michael Ferraro, charging some really, really big stuff, especially in the Southeast. And it didn't take me long watching his stuff to realize he's not only charging this stuff, he's actually really, really, really good in a kayak. And not only is he charging, he's doing it really, really well. And so we're super excited to have Mike Ferraro here with us on B-Flow Sessions. Mike, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Brad. I'm happy to be here, and that's a huge compliment. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So I'm going to read some of his resume here, some of his exploits, primarily in the Southeast, but he's also traveled in the U.S., Mexico, Canada. But I wanted you all to listen, and obviously we have a very niche, kind of close knit listening base, right, of people who know a lot about kayaking. So they're going to know a lot of these things. And this dude has the second descent of kayaking High Falls, fifth descent of Looking Glass Falls, DeSoto Falls, the first descent of Fang Falls, the Dart Prong. He's had 4 descents of the 40-40 on the Toxaway, a no portage lap on the Linville and the Raven Fork. He got the first ever Jocassee Quad Crown, and that's by kayaking all 4 rivers that flow into Lake Jocassee, the Toxaway, the Horse Pasture, Whitewater, Thompson. Did you ever add up how many vertical feet you dropped that day?
I did it in a solo too.
And it was solo. But I mean, did you ever get out the calculator and figure out how many? I mean, you had to drop like 5,000 vertical feet that day.
It felt like I was down a long ways.
I bet.
And my girlfriend, now wife, driving my shuttle for me.
Nice.
That's how I did it. That was the move.
He's also, traveled and been on the Stikine with 2 no portage laps on the Stikine, Punch Bowl, Upper and Lower Lewis Falls, Haley Falls, Fantasy Falls out in Colorado or out in California, Cherry Creek, Mexico. He's ran the Tamata. So if there's big whitewater to run out there, this guy has done it and has done it in a lot of style. So again, Mike, welcome to B-Flow Sessions.
Thank you.
So the first question I always ask everybody is how they found their flow in kayaking. It's like how you got your start. And obviously I want you to answer that, but I want to also plug that Mike is a graduate of Western Carolina University, the Harvard of kayaking.
It really is.
I'm also a catamount, so.
If anybody's wondering, that's what my degree's in. It's in kayaking.
It's in kayaking?
Yeah, it's definitely in kayaking. That's all I did.
I can relate for sure. You're either on the water or hanging out in base camp Cullowhee watching kayaking videos.
Yep.
So.
I was working at the climbing wall a lot, teaching roll classes, and it was a great time. Good place to be for whitewater.
But other than at Western, how'd you find your flow?
So as far as how I got into paddling, how I kind of found my way into paddling was before college. I was about 13 years old. I was on a family vacation in Missoula, Montana, and I'm sure you're familiar with Missoula.
Oh yeah,
Brennan's Wave.
Yep.
And we'd gone down a rafting trip. We had done a rafting trip down the Clark's Fork out there outside of Missoula, and the raft guide was like, "You guys should come to this kayak competition tonight. It's really cool." And there's kayakers doing flips, and it's just awesome. And so my parents were like, okay, well, I was stoked to go, so they took me and my other family that was living out there to Brennan's Wave, and we watched a freestyle competition, and I was hooked from
Oh
then
my
on.
God. What
And
year was that?
when was that?
Yeah, what year?
I want to say 2009,
Okay.
2010 ish. But I went back to North Carolina. Like, how do I even get into this sport? It just
Right.
felt so inaccessible,
Mm.
uh, to, like a weird way. So I didn't have any friends that did it. Um, I didn't know about the gear. I didn't know anything really.
Right.
And I, my parents did have a pool though in the backyard, um, and that pool is what made me the kayaker I am today. I swear. I
Okay.
I, I started in a wreck boat in the pool trying to roll it, and I didn't know I needed thigh hooks even. And so I'm like, why can't I roll this thing? And I'm for like a month trying to roll it, and finally I got online and started looking around. I'm like, oh, you need thigh hooks. So I got rid of my Dick's Sporting Goods kayak, like a Piranha S7
Yeah.
on Craigslist, and uh, learned to roll, learned to hand roll, a hand roll on both sides. I I pretty much could flat water cartwheel before I even started really running whitewater. Even
Sure.
we were doing like little river trips on our local run, the Catawba River. There,
Okay.
it flows out of Lake James, um, and it's just like class one, class two. My dad would be in his wreck boat, and he actually ended up getting into whitewater a little bit too with me, and then I just took it like way too far for him eventually. But I learned a lot at the Whitewater Center too. I
Yeah.
would just go. He would take me. My dad would take me there on the weekends or when he was off, and I would paddle until I couldn't even carry my kayak back to the
Oh
car.
my gosh.
I would for hours and throw myself into all the features there. And so I feel like the way I learned was really slow and super safe and in a controlled environment. And then it wasn't until I was like 15 or 16, right? I kind of started making friends that paddled.
Right.
And, my first real kayak buddy, Matt Marone, is his name. He lives up here in Asheville, and he's always been a good kayak buddy. Uh, he showed me down Wilson Creek for the first time. Are you familiar with Wilson Creek at all?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and I grew up like 30 minutes from there, and
Wow.
so like in high school, I was starting to paddle class four and like Wilson Creek laps after school. Did
Yeah.
my level, I was there, and uh, so even Wilson Creek is like pretty low consequence,
Sure.
pretty mellow. And then I was probably probably in high school at some point. I ran the green,
Mm.
started running the green laps on the green, and then went to college, and it was a history from there. I was going everywhere, just
Yeah.
me, and then I linked up with Eric Bartle, and we just took off like you were saying, like, uh, and then Matt Anger was going to school there too. So
Okay.
like me, Eric, and Matt Anger, and um, we were going to school there and paddling a bunch, and a couple other people in and out of the scene. But
That's really cool. I mean, you guys were there. What that would like the 2015 year, right? I mean, kind of right in there when you guys were at Western.
I was there 2014 to 2018. I graduated in 2018.
Okay. Yeah, so like me and a guy by the name of Pete Gallo, we were roommates and we went to school there together, and then kind of just like what you talk about with Eric, and the two of us were just skipping class to go paddle at the slab, and hitting all the runs in the Smokies, and Yeah, so it's awesome that 12 years later there was, there's still more crews, and I'm sure today there's crews there that are going to school that are hitting it hard.
I know some of them, some of the kids there now. I know them and paddle with them a little bit, and have even gotten the chance to show them some of the stuff that we like. Kind of not really. We weren't the first people to do it, but we were the first people in a long time to do it. Like the horse pasture to the lake. Like
Right.
me and Ryan McAvoy, uh, kind of modern day pioneered the way to the lake. And there's some good rapids down there, and it's nice to see those kids getting out and enjoying that section of river. And they've even found a lot of stuff that I had no idea about. Like there was some guys that found Jacob Simpson's the kid's name. He found a waterfall that's like 50 or 60 feet, and I had seen it, but I was like kind of written it off in a way because it was a spillway. It was like below a spillway,
Right.
and like there's no telling when this thing's gonna run, and it's also
Right.
illegal. And I'm just trying to avoid interactions with the law if I can, you know.
Yeah, it's,
But they
it's a
went
good
around.
idea.
It was good. It looked really cool. But vertical 50, 60 footer, right there,
Wow.
our noses this whole time. So many generations missed it. And thank God.
Wow. So who were your flow guides when you started? Who were your first mentors?
So my buddy Matt definitely was. Um, as far as taking me, he had some more connections in the sport and was able to like show me different rivers. And yeah, he was really helpful to me coming up. And then honestly, my dad was, even though he didn't get into kayaking as much as I did, um, he he still kind of showed me that you need to do this safely and you need to do it right.
Right.
Do it if you're gonna do it right. And so I've always learned a lot from him. And then further on down the line, definitely Eric. Yeah, Eric Bartle taught me a lot about play boating and
Yeah.
about just running super hard rivers. And
Yeah.
and Eric would do some crazy stuff, and I would be like, "How are you even walking on that rock right now? That's insane!" Just rock scrambling and things because half of Class 5 kayaking is canyoneering.
Right.
And I
Sure.
think people forget that, but
Right.
he kind of showed me that side of things, and that was super helpful. Uh, yeah, there's honestly been a lot of people who've been awesome. And then as far as like pushing me and getting me to a little outside of my comfort zone, definitely Ryan McAvoy would be. He's like my best paddling friend now.
Right.
Every time I'm up here in the mountains, I'm paddling with McAvoy.
That's awesome. Um, this segment's called Perfect Flow. Tell me about some times on the river that comes to mind if I say the perfect day on the river. The day when you had the perfect crew, the perfect weather, and everything just came together.
Man, there's been so many. There's been so many of those days. Um, I would I would have to say one of the days on the Stikine.
Yeah.
Just that whole trip felt like that. Like it was something that I had aspired to do for so long, and it came together, and that was just amazing. And like we had some bumps in the road on our trip. Like my buddies were running shuttle, and they got in a car accident,
Mm.
and the, they bummed a ride with the dad and the son, and turned the car over. They didn't.
Oh.
They were fine, but I was at the put in waiting for them, uh, and they made it to the put in the next morning,
Oh my gosh.
and then we put on for a one day, but everything kind of just came together, and like we were all good, even though all that other stuff happened. Uh,
Wow.
we got everybody to put in. There's a lot more details to that, but uh, yeah, it was crazy times up there, and we made it work, and it was awesome. I guess another one would be probably going down to Mexico. Our first day in Mexico, we ran from the bottom of Big Banana uh, all the way through uh, to the Seven Sisters Gorge and Tomato 1, Tomato 2, all the way down. And it was just me and McAvoy on that one.
That's
It
cool.
was such a crazy day. And
That's
everything,
awesome.
like we got to the takeout with both our paddles, and no one was broken, and we were so stoked. We we drank lots of tequila.
I bet. Yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
down there. The water will get you.
You can't drink the water, that's for sure. Yeah. What about flood? Sometimes when, and I know flood sometimes can be a good thing, but in this reference, it's a bad thing. So sometimes when things did not go well for you on the river, could be, or maybe sometimes in life that things haven't gone as planned. And not only tell us about them, but how you handled them and battled through that adversity.
Oh yeah, I got a couple of those. One particular one from pretty early on in my paddling progression, if you will. I was about 16 years old, and I'd just been studying topo maps because that's what Teo did, and I watched
Yeah,
Teo YouTube videos, and he
yeah,
would study the topo maps and say, "Hey, there's gradient over there. I want to check that out." And I was like, "Well, that's a pretty good idea." Uh, there was this creek that no one ever talked about. It seemed called Upper Creek.
okay,
It's right near where I grew up, and I knew nothing about it really, other than hey, those grid lines are close together in a couple places. There's probably some gradient in there,
right,
and I didn't have any friends really at the time to go kayaking with, and uh, I think the ones that I did have were busy or something, and so I get on Boater Talk.
yeah,
I'm like, hey, does anybody want to go kayaking today? And this guy was like, yeah, I do. I'll meet you at the Wilson Creek takeout, and then we'll go figure out what we're gonna do from there. And so I met him, and he's like, oh, my other buddies are showing up too. They'll be here in a minute. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. I don't have anybody else to paddle with, so I guess I'm with
sure,
you guys. And then he had to go get gas in his car, and I was just like, the water's high, like we need to go kayaking. But he was the only person there, so I was like, okay, dude, go get your gas, and then we'll go. And he got his gas. His buddy showed up. This is gonna be sick. There's this creek called Upper Creek, and I know where the takeout is and the put in. I've never done it before, but it looks really awesome. And so these guys were like, okay. And so we leave a car at the takeout, way up the mountain, like
right,
way elevation up high, you know. So we get to the put in, hike in like a mile, and put on, and it becomes apparent to me that one of these guys is like a class 2 kayaker. Like,
oh, geez,
yeah, like not prepared for this at all. Um, he flips in like some class 2, swims, and then shortly downstream there was a drop, and his boat went over the drop, and I'm chasing his boat, and I like boat scout over this thing, and it was good, so I went and then got his boat. And at this point, the gorge is like the walls are starting to kind of like do
yeah,
this,
starting to close in on you.
starting to close in. Things are getting steeper, and I realized that this has been a huge mistake. you know,
Yeah,
just not a good idea. And the other guys are moving. So there's that really inexperienced guy, this really fat guy, and then there's this guy that's C1ing. And C1ers are like, sometimes they're really on point and they're fine.
yeah,
I've had plenty of friends like Tad Dennis,
yeah,
C1er, totally fine, would do anything in C1 that a kayaker could do.
Right.
But this guy was not Ted Dennis. Um, he he was just taking forever to get in and out of his boat, and so these three, and then me, the kid, whose
Right.
idea this was, and we're kind of like crawling speed downstream, and we get to the precipice of what seems to be a walled-in gorge, where it's like you can either go into this gorge or out.
Mm.
And these guys had had enough. So they're like, we're
Yeah.
hiking out. And I had no choice. I was like, okay, we're hiking out. So we hiked our boats up the ridge a little bit, and it starts raining and getting late at night. Like, we probably got about an hour and a half of sunlight left at this point.
Okay.
We hike our boats up this, it's just this straight up, no trail, leaves, roto, just, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Pretty much like any portage I know now is like that would be no big deal to me now, but then I was like, holy shit, you
Right.
know. And so we leave our boats, and I told those guys, I was like, I think there's a trail if we just keep going up. If we just keep going up, I know there's a trail because I'd seen it on the map I was studying.
Right.
So we get up to that trail, and the fat dude, he looks like he's about to die, like actually die, like have a heart attack or something. He was not doing good at all.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was so scary. So I start. I'm like, just stay on this trail, go downstream, and you'll get to our car eventually that we left down there. But I start going fast to try to get down there to get help for this guy.
Yeah.
And I get down there after running so fast and so far, and I see headlights coming up the road towards me, and it's my dad.
Mm.
And so he's a police officer in that county,
Okay.
and he comes up the road, and I'm standing there like, you know, all the hell. And he goes back up the trail with me, gets the guy, walks him out, and it's dark at this point. It's so dark.
Right.
My dad's just like, we'll talk about this, in the car
Right.
type of thing. But he takes me back up to my car, and I get to my house, and my whole family is there.
Mm.
They're all there, and they're so worried about me because it was.
Right.
I told them when I expected to be home, and I was nowhere near that mark at all. And they just were like, they felt like I learned my lesson. I think there was no punishment on my end, but
Right.
my dad actually helped me get we went back in the next day and got the boats, and with these guys, and my dad was so mad at them, like, how could you let the 16-year-old tell you where you should go kayaking? Like, you guys should have known better.
Right.
And there was a section of Upper Creek that I'd been hiking up, and I put back on the river at where I knew the lines from there out. So I just kayaked the rest of the way out, and these guys were like, "No, we're walking." They walked all the way back to their car.
Right.
Um,
Wow. That's
when we got
incredible.
out there, I haven't seen any of those guys since. But if they're out there, uh, man, that was a heck of an experience. So that would be a flood for sure, mega flood.
Yeah. Maybe they end up listening to this episode.
Maybe they do. I hope they do.
Yeah, I hope they do too. If you're out there and you do, follow the show, give it a 5-star rating, leave a
Yeah.
comment or review.
Right.
Now this next segment is current. What do you do to find flow today? And did I see in your questionnaire you're currently an active duty Marine?
Yep.
So, I mean, first of all, like, thank you so much for your service. And so, if you could talk to us a little bit about that. I mean, obviously, you're still kayaking at a very high level, so we want to hear about that. But tell us about your service as well.
Yeah, yeah, I'd love to. So I, after college, I took 2 years and just went kayaking. Pretty much, I did carpentry for work, which was sweet. I was a framer for a little bit, and so if you're frame, you can't frame a house in the rain, you
Right?
know. So, but I was kind of tired of doing that, and I was like, I got to make some adult moves here, like some
Yeah.
decisions. Like I kind of would like to own a home, start, retirement, thinking about like, I want to have something when I'm older,
I
uh,
totally understand. Yeah.
family and stuff. And I was like, well, my dad is a Marine, my
Okay.
grandpa is a Marine, uncles. I got several uncles that are Marines, so I was like, well, the only branch of the military I'm joining is the Marine Corps. That's the only option for me.
Right.
And like I said, I got my degree, so I was like, well, I'll go be an officer,
Right.
and that'll be great. Well, I go to take the practice ASVAB test, and math has never been a strong suit of mine.
Okay.
But if I could have studied for it and known what was on it, the practice one, which the practice one is supposed to be a practice test, like no harm, no foul, whatever. So I take it, bomb the math portion, and the OCS, uh, like the I think they're called an officer selection officer, saw
Yeah.
that. He was just like, no, not interested,
Ah.
pretty much. So
Wow.
I had two choices from that point. I could go try to join another branch and be an officer in another branch, which probably would have worked. But I was like, everybody in my family's enlisted. I'm gonna go be an enlisted Marine and follow in the footsteps of my dad and grandpa. So I just told him like I'll just enlist, and so I enlisted as a recon contract actually,
Okay.
uh, and so you sign up for 5 years and they guarantee you can go to basic reconnaissance course BRC, and I went to that course, and there's a primer course that's a month long, and then a 3 month long course that's the main course. And man, I made it through the first part, which was getting pretty much hazed in the pool and tread water forever, and then doing land nav, and then there's like land PTs mixed in, and you weren't doing much learning there. It was mostly just getting messed up by these instructors, and made it through that. And then I sat kind of dormant for, not really dormant, but in a holding platoon for a little bit, and then I picked up BRC finally in January in Southern California, and so I'm going through that, and my wife calls me and she's like, "Hey, I'm pregnant." I had been home for 10 days on Christmas leave, and we had an oops, and I ended up getting her pregnant. And so I had that in my head, and then uh, they do this thing called a SOCOM screener where you have to bob up and down in the pool with your hands behind your back and your feet
Yeah.
tied together. And I could bob all day long, but then they want you to like retrieve a mask off the bottom with your teeth and hold it in your teeth while you bob, and they want you to do a flip in the water column as you're going up and down. And I was just having the hardest time with this. And then I had that in the back of my mind, like my wife's pregnant. This training pipeline is so long and drawn
Right.
out. And once I do get out of this training, I'm still never going to see her because
Right.
I'm gonna be going to all these schools, doing all this stuff, and I turned into I quit and said, "This isn't for me." And they must have liked me pretty good because they're like, "Well, do you have a plan?" And I said, "Not really. This was my plan." And they said, "Well, you should go pack parachutes. You should go be a parachute rigger." And I
Mm,
never even heard of this job and didn't know it existed. So I was like, that sounds really cool. I started researching it and I was like, well, these guys get to pack parachutes and jump out of planes. And they don't have to do any of the other stuff like with the like combat equipment, or when you land, you get to just go pack more parachutes. You don't have to like do any reconnaissance or any of that stuff. Like,
right.
not that fun anyway. And so I was stoked on that, and luckily I did get that job, and that's what I'm doing today. I pack parachutes and maintain sewing machines, and which kind of led to my business too.
Well,
Uh,
and
the
great
apparel.
transition. I do have one more question about the military. Where are you based out of now?
I'm based out of Camp Lejeune. I've been there the
Okay.
whole time I've been in. I've been in about 5.5 years, so I'm due for a move. I'm due for a move. I don't know where I'm going next. We'll see.
Okay.
Um,
Very cool.
yeah,
Yeah. So, along with the current, tell us about your, your business. I mean, definitely, like you said,
yeah,
learning the sewing machine that had to help with, your endeavors here.
yeah. Learning how to sew. I would not be able to do this business if I didn't know what I know about sewing machines, and and I know enough about sewing machines even now to know that I don't know nearly all there is to know about sewing machines. But yeah, we make these really sweet microgrid fleece hoodies with this nice
Yeah.
yellow cloth hood and oversized sleeves. Like these sleeves, I don't know if you can see, but like
Yeah.
the
Model it,
sleeves
baby.
sleeves are super long and comfy. It's just like a waffle material there,
Yeah.
and then you've got the pocket. And you know how a lot of hoodies these days, like the pocket doesn't go up very far, and your
Right.
stuff can kind of fall out. So
Yeah.
we try to do as many features as we could without overdoing it, because I know a lot of
Hmm.
hoodies have like drawstring here and pocket there, and which is cool. But do you actually use that stuff?
Right.
Maybe, you know, maybe once in a while you'll use the drawstring. So we got rid of that. There's so there's been a lot of research and development and just making hoodies, and you should see the first one of these I made. It looks horrible. I would never wear it.
And
I
what's
don't
the
like
name of
it.
the company?
Mountains to Sea Apparel. It's
Mountains
just
to Sea Apparel.
Mountains to Sea. Here's the banner right there. I was gonna
Awesome.
try to stand in front of it, but the lighting was kind of bad.
Very cool. So everybody out there should go check out Mountains to
Yeah.
Sea Apparel for sure.
Yep.
Very cool. What about downstream? So downstream is where you tell people about, some goals or thoughts that you have about the future, either in the water or off. What do you got? What do you got going?
I'd like to travel to South America with my wife and do some like intermediate rivers with
Mm-hmm.
her, and kind of meet her where she's at with paddling,
Right.
and maybe run a few stouts while I'm down there. I don't know.
Yeah, you can sneak
Uh,
in a few.
Sneak in a few. There's a few different places we've thought about going, but we
And with
definitely thought about.
between your business and being an active duty Marine, how often do you get to go kayaking currently?
Yeah, that's a good question. Not that often, actually. I get to go kayaking. So in 2024, my daughter was born at the end of 2023,
Okay.
and I got 3 months paternity leave,
Oh, wow.
and I could use it 7 days at a time for the next year. Because
Okay.
like, so I could say I'm going to take 7 days off, and they'd say okay,
Okay.
Beacon. Um,
Right.
so I got a lot of kayaking in that year. I think I got 52 days on the river, and like 45 of them were class 5.
Nice.
Uh, so it like keeps the fire hot in a way.
Right.
This year I haven't gotten to paddle as much, so I'm definitely feeling a little more rusty this year than I did last year. I I will say that I want to go kayaking more than I ever have,
Right.
but you got to do what you got to do as
That's
far.
exactly right.
But the hoodies do keep us coming back to the community some more, because
Sure.
kayaking community is a place to start a business. Everybody's super friendly to us. We take our hoodies to like Golly Fest, and we were at Chatula Fest and a few others, and everybody's been really supportive of our business and helping us get off the ground and get moving with it. It's been awesome. We've had great support from the kayaking community.
Very
With
cool.
that.
This next segment is flow advice, and I want to know what advice you would give to someone who's wanting to start in kayaking.
Yeah, there's so many things that I want to say, but if I if I could sum it down to like one or two things, it would be um, make your own decisions.
Mm,
Don't make decisions for anybody else. If you want to step it up, step it up. Don't don't let other people push you too hard to advance to harder rivers on
right.
for their benefit.
Right.
I see that a lot. People start stepping it up way too soon, and they get hurt. All those people. They don't paddle for a lifetime. They
Right.
get hurt. You know, something happens where they can't even paddle anymore ever.
Right.
Sometimes because they get hurt, and so yeah, don't let other people make decisions for you. Uh, do pull ups. Uh, keep your shoulders strong. You know,
Yep.
and I guess just progress as slow as possible,
Yeah.
and just enjoy just catching eddies places,
Mm,
and
yeah.
and being able to roll and being able to just be comfortable in the river and learn how to use the river features well before you advance to harder rivers would be my best advice.
I love it. This next segment is our rapid fire segment. I call it running the rapids. So you and I get to run some rapids here together. And I'm gonna throw out a topic of kayaking, and you're gonna give me your Mount Rushmore. So, your top 3 to 5 favorite or best or whatever you think comes to mind based on this topic I threw out. And the first one is kayak designs of all time.
Um, definitely the Nomad, the RPM. I would say the Tuna, now Waka, OG.
Yeah,
Those both sweet. And then Stinger for
love
me,
it.
at least.
Love it. Rivers of all time.
Rivers of all time. Little White, North Fork of the Payette, and Linville Gorge.
Love it. Okay. Countries to paddle in.
Countries to paddle in. I don't really have as much experience in so many different crazy countries. I've kept my paddling as local as I could. Um,
All right, I'm going to amend that question then. Play
so
spots
I would
or
say
rapids or
USA.
waterfalls?
Do what?
I'm going to amend the question then, and we're going to go rapids or waterfalls. Your favorite rapids or waterfalls?
Waterfalls.
Okay. Do you have a couple favorites?
Waterfalls. Yeah. Um, definitely gorilla. It was at least.
Was. Yeah.
That's kind of a rapid and a waterfall, though. I don't know if that counts.
It's
And
both.
then waterfalls are a weird thing though, because there's a lot of waterfalls that have been my favorite rapids that I've run, but I would never run them again.
Mm.
You know, like I've run Sahaley Falls. I've run
Right.
like Tamata 2 and Tamata 1. I would run Tamata 1 again, but I have such a great respect for waterfalls and just that art. There's some people that have mastered it to an extent, but I'm far from being a master running waterfalls. I will say Greeter Falls is really good. Like if I had to pick like the most picturesque waterfall to run and get good at running waterfalls, it would be Greeter Falls in Tennessee.
Okay.
Because that thing, it's tall enough to figure out what you're doing, but it's not tall enough to hurt you too bad. So
Gotcha.
that probably
Um, a river that you've not done yet that you want to do.
ooh, I don't know the name of it. Be one of those rivers in Chile. What is that? With the Nevados,
The
maybe.
Nevados. Yep.
Yeah, that one's high on my list. I would love to go down to Chile and run those rivers.
Yep.
Nevada. Yeah.
What about paddlers of all time, kayakers of all time?
Ooh. Definitely Pat Keller.
Yep.
Yeah. Dane, Pat, Dane, and Teo, and Aniol,
Love it.
Sarah Solstice.
Yep.
That
That's a
guy's.
good. He's really good. Yeah.
I watch so many YouTube videos.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I study that guy, how he paddles.
Yeah. He's really smooth.
It
This
doesn't help that
last
he
seg,
weighs like 120 pounds. You know,
he weighs how much?
he weighs like I kayak with him on the Stakeen. He's tiny.
Okay.
Him and his brother, they're tiny and they just float over everything. Man, they're good
Oh,
too.
yeah. Yeah. All right. So this last question is final flow. Um, we do things in life for the last time sometimes, and we don't realize it was the last time we ever did it. So if the river gods came down and they said, "Hey, this is your last time you get to be in a kayak," but the good news is you get to pick your river, you get to pick your boat, and you get to pick your crew.
Nice. That'd be. I would paddle Wilson Creek
Mm.
in a centrifuge with my wife and my dad. Yeah, that's what I do.
Awesome. I love you. Kept it old school there and with the
Yeah,
family. I love it. Well,
definitely.
Michael, it's been just a joy to talk to you and get to meet you. I hope we get to paddle at some
Yeah,
point. And again, I mean this in all sincerity. Thank you for your service to our country, and it's been so awesome to watch all the incredible things you do in a kayak. And best of luck, with your company and all your endeavors.
appreciate it. Thank you so much, Brad, for having me on.
All right, I
We'll
appreciate
find
you.
the flow together.
That's right. Yeah, we gotta get in some flow together sometime. All right. Well, thank you for being on
Definitely,
B Flow Sessions.
absolutely.
Thanks for listening to this episode of B-Flow Sessions. Please take a moment and rate the show, give it a follow, and leave a comment. Also, if you could share it with your fans, your friends, your family, and everybody else you know in the paddling world, that would help the show grow and help more paddlers find and be in the flow.